better for you if you are aware of it or knowledgeable. Allah ordered His Prophet and his companions with him to go general in the jihad at the time of Tabuk to fight the enemies of Allah from the Romans and the disbelievers in the people of the book. And it all came back to go with him in all conditions that they are in. So Allah said, go light or heavy, old or young. Allah did not give an excuse for anybody. And fight in the sake of Allah with your money and your souls. That is better for you if you are knowledgeable. And then Allah indicate people to spend in His sake and to give everything to please Him and to please His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, fight with your money and yourself in the sake of Allah. That is better for you if you are knowledgeable. That's better for you in this life and the hereafter, because you spend something and Allah replace it for you more in this life, plus whatever He say for you in honor at the day of judgment. Like the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has guaranteed for those who murders in his sin that if Allah take him, you enter Jannah, or take him back home and he is getting the reward in this life. It is prescribed on you to fight, and it is disliked by you, and you might like something and it is bad for you, and you might hate something that would be good for you, and Allah knows and you don't know. So we could say in comment on this that Allah the Almighty, after He promised those who did not fight with the Prophet ﷺ, those who delay themselves, oh who you believe, why, if you are told fight in the sake of Allah, you get very heavy on earth, you accept this life from the hereafter. What is this life compared to the hereafter except little? So after He gave that promise, warned those, then He said the order, and He ordered the general fighting, so no one has the excuse in being delayed or obedience. Allah said, fight light or heavy. So the light and heavy is in the fighting, the equipment, and this will include every aspect of the human beings period, whether you are young, heavy, old, light, you are whether you are comfortable, uncomfortable, whether. So you have to fight in every condition, good and ease or hardship, whether you're sick or not, poor or rich, of less of children or more, or any other excuse that after the capability, of course. And then listen, to fight it is obligatory if there is enough. Allah said not all believers should fight altogether, but it is required in 3 types. The first one, if the enemy came on a specific area, if he came to he surprised them, if he occupied their parent, then it is required on all of them to protect and to stop the aggression. And if they can't, to return this aggression, then the jihad is required on those who are around them and close to them, and those who after them. If the leader of the Muslims, if he asks about or all, If you are, did you like this life over the hereafter? There's nothing to the hereafter. And in the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, of the day of Fatih, there is migration after Fatih Mecca. It will be only fighting in the sake of Allah, and if you are asked to fight, then go. The third one. Those who committed the fire, they cannot turn their back. Like Allah said, "Oh, who you believe, if you find the disbelievers, then don't turn your back to them, and whoever does it, and those who does, they will have the fire as their destiny." So if it is required, it is required except at the time of disability. And Allah said, it's not on the weak or those who don't have whatsoever to fight for Allah, His Messenger. And our previous generation, they understood the Quran and the action of the Prophet ﷺ and his guidance, so they went east and west to establish the truth in east and west in every means. So they had half of the earth in no time, and they represented the people over 10,000 years. Then they left the guidance of Allah, and they wanted to just sing the Quran, so they are lost. And other nations, they became more powerful than them. And there will be no time until Allah replace those with others who are capable to hold that responsibility of spreading the word of Allah, of declaring the truth. So those who can fight in their money and their self, then they are required to do that. And those who can only one, they could do whatever they are capable. Allah required what is you are able to do. The Muslims, they used to spend in the sake of jihad their own money, and they will spend their money for others, like Uthman did when he prepared the army of Usra in that battle of Tabuk, and others of the companions who did the same. And when the treasury was full of money, then they start using that money from that money, and that's all to protect their own countries, their own territory, and their own people. And that is better for you. Whatever you are ordered with, it is the jihad. It is better for you if you know. If you know that for certain, that shows your action, or if not. And the believers knew the importance of that, so they fulfilled Allah's order. And then Allah said, After some of the hypocrites they left, and others they left because of some excuses. He said, if it is that all their excuses, it is because it is a long distance. They said, if they will, we will go with you. This is all they're destroying themselves, and Allah knows that they are liars. And the Shaykh is explaining the vocabulary of that statement of Allah. So he's saying, if it is a short travel or something that is, if you ask them for something that is beneficial for them in this worldly thing, like they get money, and it's an easy travel, they will follow you, and they will rush to it because they love the money, they love the worldly things. This is their natural thing. And those who did are the ones that have no but you ask them for to go to a big travel, and you told them at the time of the time heat, and they wanted to be in the shade and gain the fruits, so they were left behind. The hypocrites, they are either cowards or loving for to be lazy, to be comfortable and to be under the shade and to be close to their fruits and their money. And Allah said, those who delay from the battle of Tabuk and they stayed after they claim that they have excuses, and they will not. So Allah said, if it is something that they're going to gain, if there's something close by and it's easy, they will follow you. But it was far for them. That distance was very far for them. And they will swear to Allah that if you came to them, if they can, they would have lived with you. If they didn't have those excuses that they are lying about, they would have gone with you. And they're all lying. Allah is saying that they are lying, they are destroying themselves by pushing in the punishment by using Allah's name to swear by Him because of their hypocrisy. And swear by Allah falsely will give you great and severe punishment from Allah. And when they say that if we are capable, we'll go with you, they are capable, they are healthy, they are strong, and they have ease in their money, and Allah knows their condition. Allah has forgiven. Allah forgive you when you allow them. So you will see those who are truthful and those who are lying. Have you seen a claim from Allah to forgive him before Allah blame him? So Allah put the forgiveness before He tell him what he did wrong. And Qatada said that Allah blamed them, and then He allowed him to allow those to whomever He wished. So if they were on something that's common, they will ask you. So give permission whoever want and ask Allah's forgiveness. Allah is forgiving and merciful. He said it came on people who asked the Prophet ﷺ permission. Some they said, ask his permission. If he allow, if he don't, they don't. They're not gonna go. They said, ask him. If he allow you, then halas, you get the excuse. If he don't, then don't go anyway. So Allah wants to verify to you, to show to you the true people with excuses and those who are hypocrites. Allah said, those who believe in Allah and the hereafter do not ask for your excuse. They will fight in their money and their souls, and Allah knows the bias, the one who are God conscious. Did you leave them? Then so know that truthful from those who will disobey you. They insisted that to stay from the battle, from the fighting, even if you allow them or didn't allow them. Thus Allah showed what's in their heart. They are not asking you to stay, so no one will ask you to stay unless they are not believers. They are hypocrites. Those who believe in Allah and the hereafter, they will not ask you for permission to stay. They will go with you, they fight with you when there is something that is generally common, because they find that jihad is something close to Allah. So when Allah asked them, they all obeyed. And then Allah said, indeed, those who ask you, those who don't believe in Allah and the hereafter, if they ask you to sit for those who have no excuse, those who don't believe in Allah and the hereafter, they want Allah's reward, and their hearts are very doubtful about what you have brought to them from the truth, and they are fluctuating between disbelief and belief. They have no foot stood in the faith. They are all confused. They don't know which camp they need to go to the believers or non-believers. So the summary in this ayat that Allah Azza wa Jal has narrated to us, that the hypocrites, if there's something close by, they will all run to it, but it was too far for them, and they will swear by Allah, they will go with you. They are destroying themselves, and Allah knows that they are liars. Allah has forgiven you because what you accuse them by giving them the permission. So because Allah wants you to know that hypocrites, those who are truthful to Allah and those who are lying. So after Allah encouraged people to fight in His sake, and He showed that some people are delayed, that some they stayed away from the Rasul, from all the promises that came, all the encouragement, all the warning from Allah. They came with the truth, lying excuses, and they're asking the Prophet to excuse themselves. But Allah said to His Prophet, if what you call them on if there's something close by and they know they're gonna get something, they will follow you and they will rush to your help, because they love the benefits, they love the worldly things. It's more than their love to Allah and the hereafter, especially when it is something that's easy to get, so easy to gain. It was far away, that the place that you went to is very hard for them. So they did not go because they are cowards, because they are hypocrites, because they are lying. They love this life. They love to stay in their homes in the shade, and they will swear to you falsely. They are giving excuses to you when you come back. They said, "Don't ask us. We will not trust you." They are claiming in their excuses that if they can go, they will go. But what they did as cowardness from their side. They are destroying themselves by their action because they are lazy to run for the sake of Allah. And the false swearing, it's worse of what they are saying that's going to destroy them in the hereafter, because it does break the houses what you have built. So Allah promised those the hypocrites, Allah said that He forgive you, Muhammad, from what permission He gave them, and they lied to you to stay. If you be patient to see their matter, it will be clear to you who are truthful and those who are lying, the liars. Because the liars, they will not go with you whether you gave them permission or not. You should have waited on the permission before you gave it to them. It was said that Mujahid, that Allah forgive you, came with people who said, ask the Prophet ﷺ, if he allow you, then you said, if you don't, then stay anyway. And Allah knows they are lying. Allah knows what's in their hearts. Qatada said, they can go, they have the ability, but it was excuses from themselves. Those who believe in Allah and the hereafter, they don't ask for permission to stay. So that's why Surah At-Tawbah is called the Surah of Exposure, because it exposes the hypocrites. Allah showed their conditions, what's in their heart. The Prophet ﷺ don't know the hypocrites. He don't know all of them and their condition with this details, like Allah showed him in this ayah. So this ayah exposed the disbelievers, the hypocrites, when Allah Azza wa Jal separated the believers from the hypocrites. It's not from those who believe in Allah, those who believe in the hereafter, where everybody will get fulfilled their reward. They will not ask you for your permission, because they know what Allah prepared for them of reward in the hereafter for going to fight in His sake. When there is a condition where everybody need to protect, defend the word of Allah. Allah said, indeed the believers who believed in Allah His messenger and they made jihad in their money and their souls, these are the truthful. So they are always prepared for it at the time of peace, by preparing their equipment, by preparing their strength, because Allah told them to prepare whatever they can so they could terrorize those enemies of Allah and their enemies. When the general draft comes in to go and fight, all of them, they have to go and fight. They're all ready to fight. two will be saved. Someone who spent in the sake of Allah. Every time he hears a call, he rush to it. So a person who spends in the sake of Allah, every time he hears something, he runs on his force, want the death at the time of fighting, where he thought that he might die. And Allah knows the true believers. He knows those who fear Him. To rush in His obedience and fight His enemy. There's indication that should not ask permission of the obligations, just to help the needy and to feed the hungry. Those who ask you permissions are those who don't believe in Allah and the hereafter, and their hearts are doubtful, and they are fluctuating with their doubts, because they see that spending the money in the sake of Allah is a punishment. They don't seek the reward from Allah like those who spend in the sake of Allah. Allah said from the Bedouins, who think that what they spend as a penalty, and they want to be your enemies, waiting for calamity to hit you. Allah said, if you are under pain, they are also under pain just like you do, but you seek from Allah what they don't seek. The hypocrites, besides, don't come to the prayers except they are lazy and don't spend, and they hate to do that. The hypocrites, they find the fight in the sake of Allah as hurt. The shaitan said in this fight for the sake of Allah, he said, you fight, you're going to die, your wife will be you're gonna have orphans, you're gonna have a widow, and so don't do that. And made him lazy to stay away from the jihad, to satisfy his worldly needs. And this worldly needs through the hereafter is nothing except a short enjoyment. And the hypocrites, they have the doubt in the religion, what their hearts did not feel comfortable, and they are fluctuating in their hypocrisy. And we keep them in their fluctuation as if they have not believed the first time. So they are confused. They don't know where to go. They always fluctuate from which kind to go. They agree with the believers what benefit them. And they give excuses with the lies from doing their obligations, from fulfilling their duties. If they wanted to fight, they would prepare for it. If they were truthful in their intention, then they would have prepared themselves for it. They would have taken the means to get ready for the fight, and what they need to travel, and what they need in that fight. They were able to do that, but they didn't do it. But Allah didn't like their going. So Allah hated for them going. This is something Allah loved to go for him, but he didn't like the hypocrites to go with him. I didn't want them. So if they want you, they will not increase you except punishment. They seek the fitna, and some of you listen to them. So they didn't prepare to go on anything because they didn't want it, but they want it with the permission. They were said, sit with those who are sitting down. When Allah is not happy with them, Allah is being sarcastic of the situation. Dear brothers and sisters, inshallah we'll continue on Monday بإذن الله تعالى. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله